evening, everybody. My name is Tom Gretsch. I'm the president and CEO of the Queens Chamber of Commerce. It gives me great pleasure to be on this presentation tonight. I've been at the Chamber for 5 years, and one of the first people that Jackie Donado introduced me to when I first got to the Chamber those years ago was Mr. Shah, the president of the the Floral Park Belrose Indian Merchant Association. Mr. Shah, it is wonderful as always to see you. It just seems like yesterday we were doing our light presentation on Hillside Avenue back in November.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
You're very welcome, sir. The Queens Chamber of Commerce has a wonderful partnership agreement with the Floral Park Belrose Indian Merchant Association. It's been in effect for a number of years. We truly enjoy working with all of you, and I'm just honored and grateful to be able to do this tonight. Unfortunately, doing it in person is not necessarily an option, but these are the times we live in. So I also wanted to take a moment to introduce Mr. Kapadia, who is the chairman of the FBIMA, and Mr. Singh, who's the vice chairman. Gentlemen, welcome, and thank you so much for being here. We truly enjoyed doing the lights back on Hillside Avenue. It was wonderful when we flipped that switch, and we had a wonderful evening of fun that night, and it was just great. I want to recognize a couple of different events and historical connotations. The first is that I want to recognize India's Republic Day. January 26th, just yesterday, was India's Republic Day. So gratitude and a celebration for that. That day, for those of you that may not know, celebrates the adoption of India's constitution way back in 1950. It's now the world's largest democracy. And we are honored to be able to have that event coincide almost by a week or two, I guess by 2 weeks, with the inauguration of our new president, President Joseph R. Biden Jr. A couple of quick announcements before I make some introductions. The Queens Chamber of Commerce has been very, very lucky and blessed in many ways, but we were chosen for one of the 6 community partners in Queens County to offer business resources, grants. This was because of the generosity of Mr. Steve Cohen, the new owner of the New York Mets, in partnership with our terrific borough president, Donovan Richards, and the New York City EDC. There was a total of $15 million granted for grants up into $20,000 to a variety of different businesses. The Queens Chamber is one of those partners, organizing and getting funds out to those that need it the most. At the end of this meeting, I will ask Jackie Donado to share that with the Floral Park Belrose Indian Merchant Association so you folks can apply. But it's indeed an honor to be selected and put the money exactly where it needs to be. I'm going to give the microphone or the camera over to our friend and yours, Council Member Barry Grodenchik of District 23. Barry's been a friend of the Chamber for many, many years. We've always been honored to work with him. He was the one, frankly, that was able to put the funds together for those lights. It's also important to recognize that this is the 2021 will mark the end of Councilmember Grodenchik's final term in office, and we all owe Barry and his hard work a debt of gratitude. Councilmember Grodenchik, would you mind saying a few words and also introducing our other special guest, which is a wonderful surprise tonight?
Thank you, Tom. It's always a pleasure to be with you, and I want to thank the Chamber for being such a strong and eloquent spokespersons for business and industry in Queens County. My former boss, mentor, and dear friend, Claire Schulman, who we lost last summer, she said, you know, we all want senior centers and parks and schools and libraries, all those wonderful things, but it's the businesses, it's the people who work and the business people who create those jobs so that people can go to work every day and pay their taxes so that we can have the best possible services for the people of Queens and all of New York City. And it's such a pleasure to work with Mr. Shah and Mr. Kapadia. Since I took office, from the moment I took office, we have been working together and working in concert with the chamber, and you have been there every step of the way. The wonderful Jackie Donado, who always seems to top herself every year with innovative new programming. You know, it's no secret to anybody that this has been a very, very difficult year for the people of Queens. Queens has been, especially Corona and Elmhurst and those communities, but really the whole city has been the epicenter, was the epicenter of COVID-19 in the United States of America. And we are still suffering to this very day. We're just talking before we came on the air about the high rates of infection here in Eastern Queens. But our merchants have been there, and they have weathered this storm. And I'm so happy you mentioned the generosity of the new owner of the New York Mets, Mr. Cohn, who really stepped forward and did a wonderful thing, putting up millions and millions of dollars to help our merchants and help our small business people to get through this. It's not been an easy year, but as you said, we have a new president. We are celebrating tonight also India Republic Day, and I'm blessed to have one of the largest populations of South Asians in New York State and probably in the entire country. Eastern Queens is kind of in the middle of the great South Asian arc that travels from Richmond Hill all the way out to Long Island. So that's wonderful. And we have now in our country for the first time, not only do we have the first woman vice president in Kamala Harris, but, and not only is she a woman of African-American and South Asian ancestry, but we also have the first deputy borough president in Queens of South Asian ancestry. And I had the pleasure of meeting with her today at Borough Hall. I know that she's going to be a magnificent source of so many different things for our new borough president, Donovan Richards Jr. And Donovan, I've lost Donovan because he used to sit next to me in the council, though we haven't been there in almost a year. But I saw him today, and just incredible enthusiasm at Borough Hall. It's so great to see. And now I'd like to introduce for a few words, and she used to be the director of a bid, so she really knows about business. This is no secret to her. My friend and our new deputy borough president representing our borough president this evening, Rhonda Binda. Rhonda, please, for a few words.
Good evening, everyone, and namaste, salam, sastikal. It's such an honor to be here to celebrate the 70th Republic Day of India. And we're missing a lot of our normal celebrations. So I was so excited when I saw on the chamber newsletter this morning. And then I learned that our great council member was actually hosting. So the borough president, on behalf of Donovan Richards, he would love to be here. He had a few other events tonight, but I promise you that we will arrange for him to come. Like the council member said, that I am also a daughter of India of South Asian descent via Guyana. And I was very lucky to actually grow up in the council member's district. And I love your background, Barry. It's it looks familiar. I'm trying very hard to fill his big shoes. And so I'm working closely in partnership with him. And I'm so grateful also for the partnership of what I've had over the years with Tom, especially on this upcoming announcement around the EDC grant tomorrow. Borough President Richards will be in Jackson Heights with the EDC president, and they'll be meeting some of the businesses there. And so as I said, I wanted to thank you, Mr. Shah, Mr. Kapadia, Mr. Singh, and we hope to introduce you all soon. And I thank you for all the work you're doing with the Floral Park Fellows Indian Merchants. Small businesses, as we all know, are the backbone of our economy, especially here in Queens. And we appreciate what you do for the networking and to empower and being the voice of the small businesses. And so happy Republic Day. Thank you for everything you're doing on the educational side, sharing information, partnering. And we really do hope to have you in closer partnership in this administration with Queensborough President Donovan Richards. Happy Republic Day. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Rhonda. And thank you again to the Floral Park Belrose Indian Merchants Association for everything that they have done to hold our community together and hold it close. during these very, very difficult months. I want to thank again Tom and Jackie for their great work in working with the Merchants Association. And we did have lights, and God willing, I got one more budget left, so God willing, we will have them again, and we'll celebrate again in the fall. The spirit of not only Christmas and Hanukkah, but Diwali and the other holidays that we celebrate here in Queens, the most diverse place on the face of the earth. So thank you all. Have a wonderful evening, and long live India. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, council member. Thank you very much. And to Deputy Borough President Rhonda Binda, she's very modest about her accomplishments. You know, I said I was here 5 years ago, and she was my partner in crime in Jamaica, running the Jamaica bid. And you know what? It was just about the time when Rhonda was there that the whole Jamaica downtown area started taking off. And to her credit, she was there in the good times and the bad. And she and I always kept in touch. And I was just thrilled and honored to be asked on Borough President Donovan Richards' transition team to help focus on economic development. And you can't find a better friend in council than Barry Grodenchik. And boy, certainly that's somebody that's walked many, many steps in the shoes of those in business is Deputy Borough President Binda. So we liked her so much that we gave her our Business Person of the Year award. That was in 2017 or 2018. Do you recall?
I actually think it could have been 2016. We've known each other that long. And thanks again for all the work on the transition team. You're
welcome. I remember giving
wrapping up, we need you. You're not going anywhere.
Yeah, thank you. It was funny when I gave you the award, your mother was in the audience and she was all weepy and teary-eyed. So proud of you. It was just a wonderful night. And I thank you for your service.
Thank you.
It's totally a pleasure. Thank you. So we're going to go and pitch a couple of questions to Councilmember Grodenchik at the request of the folks from the Floral Park Boroughs Indian Merchant Association. Councilmember, you up for a couple of softballs?
I'm going to go get my glove, but yeah, go ahead.
So this really is a softball because I know
you never know what's going to bring you trouble, Tom.
No, it's okay. This is a good one. The question's it's a multi-question question, but how are things in the ground? What do you see when you walk around? And most importantly, do you see things at the street level getting better, the same, or worse? What is your perspective on that?
Well, you know, the truth of the matter is, I think they're definitely much better than they were last spring. And last spring, I was delivering food every week or several times a week on behalf of the Sam Field Center, which is part of Common Point, which is one of our great social service providers here. They do a lot of great work out here in Eastern Queens and Central Queens. But people were literally terrified to come to the door. And I would hear, leave it downstairs, I'll pick it up. And these are people who in many cases have been living out in Eastern Queens, kind of like my aunt who lives in Belrose since 1948. They've been living here for a long, long time, have never had to call on anybody for assistance, and were trapped in their homes because of COVID. So we have come a long way forward since then. We're able, hopefully, God willing, within the next few days, and maybe by tomorrow or Friday, we're going to hear from our governor about reopening our restaurants, which I think would be a wonderful thing. We need to open them up. And I've sent the message that if you could be open in Nassau, why, a few feet away in Queens, why can't we be open? That's a message a lot of my colleagues in government have sent. I understand, we have to try to keep people safe, but I do think it's getting better. It's certainly, today was one of the first, I hadn't been to Borough Hall in quite a long time. I'd been outside, but hadn't been inside in a long time. And it was good to see Rhonda there and to see our borough president. They're hard at work. So I think that things are getting better. And as more and more people get vaccinated, they're going to feel a little more comfortable. It's going to take a while. We have not dealt with a situation, nobody alive that I know has dealt with this situation in the past 100 years. So it's over 100 years. The last pandemic affected my family. My father lost a sister before he was even born, my Aunt Frances, who I, of course, never met. So there's going to be a legacy here that's going to stretch out for years and years. But we're tough. We're New Yorkers. We're Queensites. We are very, very tough people. And I really believe that our best times are ahead. And I think for our business people, I'm encouraged because I think there's going to be a pent-up demand as the economy gets better. You know, the big part of our economy here in Queens, as Tom knows, as Rhonda knows, is the airports. They are huge. They supply over 300,000 jobs. And we've taken a major hit there and a major hit, you know, in Broadway and all those kind of things. People come here to see New York. And we're a big part of that. Our hotels, we have a lot of hotels now in Queens. But I think we're going to be ramping up again. And I think that maybe not for a few more months, but I think hopefully by the summer, we're going to see improved things.
I think you're very right.
Long answer to a softball question.
No, but it was an important question. And I know because you do such walking around in the area that it would be easy for you, but a difficult question to answer nonetheless. And you're so right about the restaurants. I was on WABC yesterday talking about, you know, the Nassau-Suffolk thing. I'm sorry, the Nassau-Queens thing and the bewitching hour of 10 o'clock at night. Nobody seems to be able to explain that, but it's killing our restaurants throughout the area. Councilmember, what do you think about, what are some of the changes you expect to see in general in 2021 when it comes to Queens and in our city?
Well, I think that one of the things we're going to see, we have a new administration in Washington, and with that new administration, we also have the bonus of having Senator Chuck Schumer as the Senate Majority Leader. It's the first, we've had majority leaders in the U.S. Senate for almost 100 years now. We've never had one from New York. And when Daniel Patrick Moynihan was chair of the, he was chair of the committee that oversaw public works, that was helpful. But, you know, we were already seeing a bonus. Senator Schumer brought home $4 billion for the MTA. It's just, we can't print money here. The federal government can. We can have another discussion about that at another time after the COVID pandemic has eased. But right now, we need direct relief to our families, to our small businesses, our schools, all those things. Our hospitals have been on the front line. We have in this community in Eastern Queens, we have one of the great hospitals in the world, Long Island Jewish Medical Center, which is part of the Northwell system. And they've been doing God's work. They've been saving people's lives. We also have another great hospital just into Nassau, which is North Shore Hospital, where my counsel, Steve Bihar, was hospitalized for a week. And so many other people from my community. So I think that we're going to see, and we need the money. It's not, you know, what I tell people is, Tom, if you miss breakfast on Monday, you can't eat it twice on Tuesday. Maybe eat more on Tuesday, but you can't make that up. And so when people don't go out to eat on Tuesday night, the restaurants suffer. They can't make it up on Wednesday night. Now they can't make it up at all. But so those are the kind of things we need to return to what we would call normalcy. I don't know what the new normalcy is going to be. I think it's still going to take time for some people to want to go into a restaurant, for some people to want to go to a Met game or a Yankee game or to Broadway or to the movie theater. But first we have to get those vaccinations in people's arms. If you get a chance to get vaccinated, please do. It's important. It's critical. The death rate per million from the virus is 16,000 per million. So far, they think that the death rate from vaccination is about 6 per million. So your chances of dying from a vaccination are almost none, but your chances of dying from COVID are about 1.6%.
It's a great stat. It's a great stat.
I just saw that tonight. We're getting more and more information from the federal government, and science is ruling the day. But I think it's going to be a while, but I am encouraged, and I think that President Biden has been hitting all the right notes so far. And he's a modest man, and he knows he doesn't have all the answers, but he's hired some great scientists and doctors to work with him. And I'm very, very encouraged. And we have Brooklyn's own, I mean, we have Dr. Fauci. How bad could he be? Okay, he's from Brooklyn. He's not from Queens, but, you know.
Absolutely. Thank you, Council Member. I want to pivot to Deputy Borough President Binder for a second. You know, you had a successful career in the public sector with the Jamaica bid and did some great work that I mentioned before. Then you did your Smart Cities Initiative. And before that, you were in the U.S. State Department. You've got a great pedigree and a great opportunity. Tell us all what made you so excited about jumping back into government service and working in the administration of Borough President Donovan Richards.
Well, thank you for that question. You know, at heart, I'm a Queens girl. Like I said, I grew up on Jamaica Avenue in Barry's district. And I live now not too far from Borough Hall in Jamaica Estates. And it was always, you know, something that was part of me. And although I did go to DC and had a chance to travel around the world working for the State Department, including many times to India, and luckily working on smart cities projects across India. Right now, I know they have an initiative called 100 Smart Cities. I always wanted to come back, and I learned so much from seeing other cities, but I wanted to come back because I know that Queens has all the assets. Some of them I believe are underutilized. And I think that under this borough president, we're going to see a complete transformation. I think it began, and I got a bit of a history lesson today also from Councilmember Grodenchik.
More to come, don't worry. I was just the first chapter.
Just the first chapter. I mean, there's so much more, right? And I think that he and his administration, they were able to put certain things in motion. And again, all the work that you're doing, I think we're coming to a point where we're going to see some, because of the leadership at Borough Hall, and we're going to see certain improvements that are, and also what we've learned through the pandemic. Some of the things I think that Tom and I had been talking about and putting importance on previously, especially with regards to technology and modernizing infrastructure, and the importance of supporting our tourism and our travel and trade industry. Those things I think we all realize our restaurants are, you know, really should be at the core of what and I think that we're now sort of pivoting to see that that's what we have to do. And so because we have the diversity, because we have the talent pool, we have the 8 colleges and universities, we are still New York City. We have the airports. There's so much we have going for us. Really, it's a matter, I think, partnership and things like what you all are constantly do, and whatever we can do to continue to help. But there's no place like home. There really is no place like Queens. We are the world right here in one borough. And so, you know, that's what really, I always, at the back of my mind, always had, I have to compare everything to Queens. And every other city lost in comparison, as far as I saw it. And so to come back here and to be able to work here, and to work with you all, it's just an honor.
That's great. And thank you for that. Thank you for that insight. You know, Mr. Shah and Mr. Kapadia and Mr. Singh, once we have this proposal together and this plan together, I intend to share it with all our community partners, including you. But the Queens Chamber has assembled a Queens Tech Council. One of my first invitations was to Rhonda Binda before I even knew that she was going to be in this role, because we want to transform Queens and make sure that the mindset here is the same mindset that's in the Silicon Valley, that's in the Route 128 up in Boston, that's in Austin and Texas. We want to make sure we attract the best and the brightest. 8 colleges and universities, 90,000 students, half of them foreign born. Queens College graduates more computer science majors than any other school in New York City. I want those, and I know the borough president shares the same vision. I want those students to graduate and find jobs here, but we have to have the companies here with that tech mindset. So you're going to see a lot of things going on over the next couple of months. We've got Google on this committee, Facebook, the Cornell tech people from government like Rhonda, Borough President Richards is an ex officio, Clyde Van Elle, Alicia Heineman, the list goes on and on. These are the people that are going to help transform our borough and make us the place to be, even more so than we've been. So we're very excited and bullish about the future, and I'm looking very forward to embracing you folks out there to be part of our group.
I want to say one thing, Tom, just to add on to what the Deputy Borough President said. You know, my late friend Claire Shulman supported our new borough president because I know that she felt that he was the person that could put the shovel in the ground. And he was a councilman down in Far Rockaway in that part of Queens, and he put a lot of shovels into a lot of pieces of ground down there. And that's what we need. We need to continue to move forward. Queens is no longer the backwater it was when I was growing up here. It's a very dynamic. It's a happening place. We have people, as we know, from all over the world. We just have to look at our screen here to know the differences that have taken place. And it's a very, very exciting time. And once we get past this pandemic, we're going to shoot like a rocket, out of a silo. It's just going to be very, very exciting.
Yeah, there's no question, Council Member. Appreciate that. I'm going to pivot over to Jackie for a second to let me know what we're going to accomplish next. And as we do that, or before I do that, I want to take the liberty of introducing everybody on this call to one of our colleagues at the Queens Chamber of Commerce. You know, we're very, very proud of building a diverse environment. So when I got there 5 years ago, most of the folks that were involved with the chamber kind of looked like me, which wasn't a bad thing. But when I got there, I kept wondering about, as the most diverse county in America, we had to get a chamber of commerce that mirrored our residents and our participants. So now I can tell you that the Queens Chamber of Commerce Board of Trustees, which is numbers about 35 people, is the most diverse board, with Asians, women's, assorted people of color, the most diverse board we've ever had. Our membership, the most diverse membership. Our member committees, the most diverse we've ever had. And we're very, very proud of that. And I also believe that my staff needs to mirror the community. Today we speak thanks to Jacqueline Donado. My hat's off to her. She gets all the credit in the world for hiring our interns and our people that come and join the chamber. Today we speak 12 different languages. The other chambers in the other boroughs call us to say, will you help us translate documents? Will you grab this phone call? And because we're all New Yorkers, we jump in and help. But I want to take a moment to just introduce and have you say hello to Tasneem Sultana. She's in the office all the time. I joke with her all the time. In my next life, when I grow up, I want to go work for her, because I think the sky is the limit. This young lady is remarkable what she does. And Tasneem, tell these folks, if you wouldn't mind, take a moment and tell them what you're majoring in and what you want to be when you grow up.
Thank you, Tom, for such a great, for what you think about me. So hi everyone, I'm Tasneem and I'm currently a junior at Hunter College. Studying a lot of things because government and nonprofit has always been my passion. So I'm double majoring in economics and political science with a minor in English literature and a certification in public policy. And I also plan to go to law school.
Like I said, I'll be working for her in a couple of years.
I'm tired just listening to her. Sultana, my Aunt Faye, who ruled the roost. She was the only daughter that survived. My father had two brothers, so there were four of them. And my mother used to say, she was a Hunter College graduate. My mother used to say, your father and his brothers are scared of their sister. So be tough, be strong, you know. That's how you get ahead.
She's a great young lady. And by the way, she represents a number of others that are not on this call tonight, but I just wanted to give her a shout out because I can mostly, right? And we appreciate you. And thanks for being here, Tasneem. Jackie, what's next on our agenda?
Jackie, you're muted.
You're muted, Jacqueline.
Yes. We continue with the program, and we are going to invite Mr. Herman Shah, the president of the Floral Park Bell Rose Indian Merchant Association, that has been a partner and a great friend and a very successful business owner also. And welcome, Mr. Shah.
Thank you very much. Greetings. Allow me to welcome you all to this virtual platform and congratulate those who celebrate India's 72nd Independence Republic Day on January 26th. Thank you very much to Councilman Barry Grodenchik, Deputy Borough President Ranga Benda, and also my dear friend, Mr. Thomas Gretsch and Jacqueline Donado from the Chamber of Commerce for making today's event possible. 2020 has been a very turbulent year. In spite of challenges and restrictions in movement of us at FBIMA, we strive very hard to perform our duties to the best of our ability. Observing CDC protocol, our committee members stood tall. Distribution of personal protective equipment and food packages to medical facilities, frontline personnel, and people. And I sincerely thank my committee for reaching out an extra mile in our commitment. Like it always says, miles to go before I sleep. I remember the golden words of Robert Frost. Further, on behalf of my board of directors and executive committee, I sincerely thank Councilman Grodenchik, Mr. Thomas Gretsch, Jacqueline Donado from the chamber for their sincere help in the installation of holiday lights. Hillside Avenue, will not believe, was entirely lit up from 249th Street to 268th Street during the holidays. It provided great inspiration to so many people during these dark times. we received so many accolades, and people certainly are looking forward to having the same thing repeated again for the year 2021. It was very welcoming, and thank you once again for your sincere help. Now, going forward in 2021, I sincerely hope and pray that we'll be out of this woods soon, and we'll continue our efforts in providing service to the small businesses and the whole community as such. We are tentatively moving forward to organize a 5th India Day parade on August 15th, Sunday. Of course, this will be subject to CDC regulations and guidelines. So with all your support, Councilman, with all your support, Queen's Chamber of Commerce, we look forward to a great 2021. Thank you once again so much. And thank you, Deputy Borough President, for joining us today. It's wonderful. And thank you, Tasneem, for such a wonderful presentation. Now, without any further ado, let me invite my chairman, Mr. Subhash Kapadia, to say a few words. Mr. Kapadia.
Okay. Good evening, Honorable Councilman Barry Grodenchik, respected President and CEO of Queen's Chamber of Commerce, Tom Gridge, dignitaries, Borough Deputy President Rhonda, all dignitaries, FBIMA members, ladies and gentlemen. January 26, celebrated every year in Mother India to mark this establishment of Indian Constitution. The Constitution of India came into effect in 1950, 71 years ago. Indians, the Constitution of India, and Indians from different religions, socials, and political background and ideology gathered to celebrate this occasion on the day every year. The father of Constitution, Dr. B.R. Ambedkar, declared that Constitution ensures the people of India receives justice, equality, liberties, and endeavors to promote fraternity. Today on 72nd Republic Day, let's take time on what a great nation we are and all the hopes and the dreams that went into the building the Republic. Now with every year passing, our reputation is improving internationally with many countries. Wishing you all a Republic Day full of love, innovation, self-compliment, self-contentment, enthusiasm, and most of all, compassion that 2020 taught us to us. Thank you all. Jai Hind, Vande Mataram. Now I'd like to invite my co-chairman, Kripal Singh.
Is Mr. Singh? No. Is it there? No.
Kripal Singh?
No. He's not there. We move on. Jacqueline? Jacqueline, we move on.
Okay, we can continue the program. And Tasneem, I don't know if Tom have any closing remarks for this part of the program while we go to the next.
I just wanted to say in a very, very frank way, how important it is, especially in light of the challenges that we faced over the last 11 months, the power of partnership. I will tell you this, I get asked to speak on radio and television and in the press all the time. And it always comes down to a question like this. 175 different languages and nationalities, the most diverse county of over 3,000 counties in America, a number of different faiths, creeds, colors, flavors, you name it. And when they ask me why, for the most part, we all seem to get along in tranquility and peace. For the most part, we have our moments, right? But for the most part, we all get along pretty well. And when they ask me why, I basically say what I believe is to be the truth, which is everybody is too busy living the American dream, working hard to have time to fight or argue. We've got people of all faiths that are out there. If you folks could see the folks that come through my doors, that call us, that ask for help, that we love to try to help across the entire spectrum. And I think it's because of the way that we are in Queens. It's not to say that the other boroughs don't get along as well within their own people, but we truly mean it. We get along. We're also the borough of the underdogs. If you ever were a Met fan like I am and Barry is, and I know Rhonda is, unless you can accept challenges, you're not going to do well. We are perennial winners. We are perennial hard workers. And I just think that it's really important, especially during these tough times. We have gotten together, all the bids in the borough, all the merchant associations in the borough. We all work hard to help each other. A council member might know this number, but I'm not sure. There have been, I'm going to probably guess and say, millions of pounds of food donated across the borough, people helping each other. It's a remarkable testament to our faith. And I wouldn't want to work anywhere else in what we do with the people that we do. So thank you very much for the honor to be here. It's truly an honor to work with. I can't wait to work with Rhonda Binda again, which is going to be great. Council member, it's been terrific working with you. You've got a long time to still make an impact, and we intend to continue to partner with you until you're on the golf course or whatever you're going to do in your next chapter. But thank you. It's been an honor to work with you.
Thank you, Tom. And, just at the Sam Field Center alone, it was a few months ago, I was with Congressman Swazi and Assemblyman Braunstein and a few others. We have done over 100,000 meals just from that location. And I know in New York City and the meals that on the go from the schools a number of months ago, and I'm talking 3 or 4 months, we were at 40 million meals. So those continue to get churned out. I'm continuing to push. I've been a leading advocate for feeding people in the city of New York, and not just, foods that they want to eat. So we've worked, for instance, with the South Asian Council on Social Services to make sure that people have culturally sensitive meals that people want to eat. And so all throughout the county, we've been doing that. Kosher food, halal food, vegetarian food, vegan, anything that we can do for people, because we're all in this together. And I think that's a theme that the chamber has put forth. That's a theme that the borough president, Donovan Richards, and our deputy has put forth, and the Merchants Association. We all rise and fall together, and that is the greatness of Queens. And I'm looking forward to the next 11 months of my public service, and then we'll see what happens after that.
That's great. Deputy Borough President Binda, would you mind making some closing remarks as well?
Well, I just want to echo everything you've already said about how important what you do with small businesses all across the borough and how important that is in advocating. It's hard, like you said, when we're right next door to Long Island and we have various regulations that put us at a bit of a disadvantage. So we appreciate all the work you're doing to get our point across and to keep folks safe in how they reopen, which is just as important. And I would say that, we're just looking forward to the partnership. I'm really excited because I didn't have a chance to celebrate India Republic Day. So I'm glad that even though we're in a pandemic, we're finding a way to still showcase our culture and our heritage and our, diversity here in Queens. So I just want to thank you again and looking forward to a strong partnership ahead on behalf of the borough president. Thank you. Total
pleasure. I just want to reference everybody in the chat box. I made it a point to put in a link to that grant program, which we're one of the 6 community partners on. So Mr. Shah, please make it a point to cut and paste that and email it out to your constituents and your members in your organization, those shopkeepers, those restaurants, those stores. We worked really hard to craft a great proposal. We were able to add in some different nuances But the long and the short of it is, Mr. Shah, Mr. Singh, and Mr. Kapadia is
Yes.
grants up to $20,000 unrestricted. It's a beautiful, wonderful program. We want to make sure everybody takes advantage of it that can. Jackie can tell you how many different languages we're doing this for. It's remarkable. Mandarin, obviously English, Spanish. It's a remarkable thing. Jackie, any further comments before we close?
No, we're gonna keep with the presentation, Tom, and giving more details about the grant that we are promoting today, and also some link and some additional information for small business owners to get access to the new forms that SBA provided for businesses that they are looking to apply either for the PPP second round or for the emergency COVID and another grants that SBA is promoting. Our friend and representative from SBA, Manli Lin, is not able to be here tonight, but she provided us a full link of information that we're gonna go and we're gonna do the presentation. I wanted to remind you that we are on Facebook Live, and this video will be uploaded in our Queens Chamber of Commerce YouTube channel for further reference. And we also, we're gonna email all the participants with all the links for the SBA programs and also for the Queens Small Business Grant Program that made possible by 17.5 million donation courtesy of New York Mets owner Steve Cohen, provides qualifying small business and vendors impacted by COVID-19 with up to $20,000 in funding to support operational expenses. All this information is coming up, and I would like to invite Tasneem Sultana that she prepared a presentation for that, and it's the document that we're going to share later on.
I need to jump to another call at 8 o'clock I have to prepare for. I wanted to thank Jackie from the bottom of my heart. You are one of my everyday heroes, and you know that what you do for these people of Queens County. So thank you. We are all grateful, and so thank you. And Tasneem, I meant what I said, and I want to make sure I warn everybody at the Floral Park Belrose Merchant. You're not going to hire her until she's at a loss.
Hire you.
Okay? All right, you got to leave her. You got to leave her alone until she gets out of law school and helps the chamber out. But council member, thank you for all you do. God bless. And
thank you. Good night. And let's go Mets. Come on, let's get this.
Let's go Mets.
Let's go Mets.
Thank you, and thank you again to our deputy borough president for being here. And I know our borough president will be out to visit us soon. And one of the projects I'm working with them on is a new education center at the in the eastern part of Queens at the Queens County Farm Museum, which is a source of great pride for us in Eastern Queens. And in normal times, visitors are over 400,000 a year. So we're very excited about that.
Thank you all very much.
Good night. Good night.
Good night.
Mr. Shah.
Good night. Good night.
Good night.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Councilmember Grodenchik, and Tom. Thank you for all your enthusiasm, and also our very proud to have our first deputy borough president tonight, Rhonda Binda. Thank you for being here, and thank you for all what you do. And now I would like to invite Tasneem to provide with this information that we are all waiting here.
So everyone, namaste, Shat Shri Akal, salam. So I have compiled a little document with all the SBA grants and PPP loan forgiveness information because they have been changed as of January 19. So all the changed links have also been provided. So the last Google Docs link that I have provided, I have made it visible to everyone. So once you click the link, it gets attached to your Google Docs and you can refer back to it and you can go through it, whatever is necessary for your personal business. And I wanted to talk a little bit about the grants program that Tom had mentioned earlier, which is a grant that we're helping with. So the grant is, as Tom mentioned, is up to $20,000. It's a lot of money. A small business can really, really benefit from such a good grant, and it will be provided to businesses that are in restaurants, personal care services, retail businesses, child care services, etc. So it does have a few requirements, and Floral Park zip codes, a lot of businesses are gonna be qualifying for this. So please do share that link with all of your members who you think will benefit from them. And as Tom was mentioning, we do have different languages. So we do have English, Spanish, but since we're talking about India here, I speak Bengali myself, but I also understand Hindi 100%, and I can communicate. I can speak enough to communicate with businesses, and I've been helping out with people who don't speak English, who only speak Hindi, to also fill out the application. So please, if you know businesses, definitely we encourage them to apply, and we are here to help in every step of the way.
Yeah, it's important to remember that all this special program is Queens only. Yes, we're going to share also the zip codes that are
so I'm going to be sharing the other in the EDC grant links and eligibility criteria here. So if you guys have in the chat, and will be shared with Mr. Shah, so you can share with your.
Sure. Great.
You are going to share the...
Yeah, I'm going to just share the link that has the text and all the links, the link to reach out to us. There we go. Here's the link to the other document. I put everything in the document so it's easier for you to refer back to.
Thank you.
Those are the one on the chat?
Yeah. There are two, one about the EDC and one about SBA.
And do we have the link for our direct contact information for the Queen's Chamber where they can process the information for the business?
Yeah, we have a click on link.
I cannot see it.
It's all the way in the bottom.
Okay. If you have any questions and if you want to go live, just raise the hand on the chat and we are more than happy to answer questions. This is a very short program. It's going to be no more than 5 weeks. And I can tell by experience, we started working last week and we sent the information to different associations, included to Mr. Shah. And basically, it is not very difficult to apply. It's very important that you know that if you are a restaurant, a storefront, first floor, ground floor, you are eligible. If you are not on the zip codes that they provided us for the first time, but you are a minority and a small business owner, a minority, you apply if you are in, you can apply it if it doesn't matter in what zip code you are in the Borough of Queens. You have to have fewer than 20 employees in 2019. And basically we have a questionnaire and it's a very simple business, company name, the DBA, the information about your taxes. It's important that you submit. What we ask in the very beginning is to submit your 2019 taxes, the last three bank statements, October, November, and December in separate PDF format, your ID, your driver license, and to sign a letter that is authorizing the Queen's Chamber to work with your documentation, and the 4506, that is a letter that authorize us and to look into the taxes that you filed recently. I am very surprised and I'm very proud being calling people, calling business owners, answering calls. I got one of my businesses that I presented, it was awarded, approved, and they got $20,000. After the approve of the $20,000, there is another, it's a very short period of time where we want to do a follow-up. There is no restrictions in how do you spend the money, as long as you work for your business. Most of the business owners are complaining about rents, about services, lack of business income, customers, and this is the most important thing that we want to address in providing this special grant. It's not difficult, don't be afraid, and if you have any doubts, any questions, I'm going to share my email and also my telephone number. Feel free to call me or to send me an email.
Also have a great news. One Indian business was granted $20,000. World's Fair Marina, I believe we all know where it is. Vishal Sharma, he got approved for $20,000.
Yes, the Queen's Chamber of Commerce at the moment we hand out the paperwork for the approval. About, I would say, like 35 businesses has been approved, and there are others that they are under review. And has to be businesses that there are storefronts, laundromats, daycare centers, retails, boutiques, flower shops, supermarkets. Those falls under this special program. Yes. Mr. Caballo, do you have any question? Because I know how close are you to the business owners, not only in the area where you are now, but also on the Jackson Heights area.
Yes, yes. I think this program is definitely going to have lots of merchants and everybody. This is really like, magic, like, miracle type. So they have to fill out the forms and we have to guide them and we can send it to you. This is good.
Jacqueline, I did forward your previous emails and links to so many businesses. So obviously I'm going to do the same tomorrow. Again, I'm going to repeat it. So hopefully, they'll come forward and they'll take advantage of this wonderful program.
Fantastic. And Tasneem, we are okay with the information that you share. Oh, there are two questions, Tasneem, on the chat.
So one is, Mr. Vora, you're asking 1104 is Floral Park. Yes. So the primary zip code listing does not have 11004. However, as we mentioned, if you are a minority business in Queens, you qualify. So you don't have to worry about that. You can still apply. And the other person just was very kind to put the link to the information about the grant. Thank you, guys.